Good morning, friends. Matt Greer here. This is Monday Morning Music with Matt. That was classical guitarist Gustavo Pimentel, and that video was one from, I want to say, April of 2020. That's from the vast archive of music from St. John's videos that we did during lockdown when we were inviting musicians to come in and make music for us and also try and throw local musicians some work. And that's one of my favorites. That one has been viewed a lot of times on our YouTube channel. And that and all of those videos that we made during lockdown and every single live stream concert are available. If you go to our YouTube channel, just lots of fantastic stuff. If you're in a bad mood, it will make you feel better to go to our YouTube channel. I am, as you may notice, not in my office this morning, although I wouldn't mind if this were my office. This is my last week of a week's, this is my last day of a week's vacation. And I'm in Pagosa Springs still until this afternoon. Amy and I have been here with friends in a beautiful cabin for the weekend. And last week I was on the beach in Galveston with a bunch of friends. So it's been a wonderful restorative week. And I can't wait to get back to work because we have a lot coming up and it's going to be a wonderful push till Christmas. I want to mention a couple of things that are coming up in the music ministry. First of all, we have 2 live stream concerts coming up yet in the month of November. And the first is this Thursday at noon Mountain Time. My 2 brilliant colleagues on the music staff, Therese McCauley, soprano, and Jim Aaron, pianist, are doing a live stream recital. They're doing a very cool song cycle by a Broadway composer named Maury Yeston. And it's a song cycle that is kind of a response to Schubert's Winterreise, if anyone is a fan of that song cycle, and they have been having a great time preparing that. And that is Thursday at noon, live stream only on our YouTube channel, of course, available to view afterwards. And one of the reasons that we've been doing those, besides putting music out, is to call attention to Albuquerque Healthcare for the Homeless, which is an organization the music ministry's partnered with for about 10 years. So you'll be invited to donate while you enjoy that concert. And then I don't have a graphic for this, I just realized, but a week from Thursday that would be the 18th of November, there's going to be a chamber music recital, wonderful chamber music recital featuring Roxandra Marquardt, violinist, Joel Bechtel, cellist, and Amy Greer, pianist, who are playing Haydn, and I should know this because I've been hearing it practiced in my living room, and a bunch of other fantastic stuff. So tune in for that November 18th, same deal, noon, live stream only. This week is the second Saturday of November, and that means Jazz Vespers. That happens at 5 o'clock Mountain Time. That will be available live and live stream. You can come and enjoy it in the St. John Sanctuary if you remain masked. Or you can enjoy it by live stream at home, and that features Christine Fossen, wonderful trumpeter, Diana Hughes, vocalist, Colin Dubel, bassist, Cal Haynes, drummer, and Robert Law, who's our pianist and music director. And then finally, as I'm saying all this stuff, it does seem like there's a lot going on. 2 weeks from yesterday, on the 21st of November, we have a Music at St. John's concert, a live Sunday afternoon concert, and we are welcoming back a concert organist named Alcee Chris. And Alcee was with us last, I think, in early 2019. Absolutely fantastic concert organist. He is now on the faculty at Wesleyan University in Connecticut. And he'll be actually playing something for us in worship that Sunday morning as well at the 11 o'clock service. And then that concert, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, will be live and live stream. And if you remember Alcee's performance a few years ago, you just won't want to miss it. It's going to be wonderful. By way of kind of introduction and giving you a taste of that, which, by the way, next Monday morning at 9 o'clock, I'm going to be chatting with Alcee. So you'll have an opportunity to get to know him a little bit and also to hear some fantastic examples of his playing. But one of the things that has happened to Alcee since he was with us last was that kind of an amazing PBS documentary came out called Pipe Dreams, about a 90-minute documentary, which was about the 5 finalists in the Canadian International Organ Competition. And Alcee was one of those finalists. And it's a wonderful documentary. You can view it on YouTube, I think, if you pay a little bit of money. And this is a brief 30-second trailer for that documentary called Pipe Dreams. You'll know Alcee immediately because he is, his first appearance in this trailer is he's asking someone to slap him. So
international organ competition.
It's like Olympic for organ.
Prizes amount to over $100,000.
Can you just slap me a little bit? No, literally, slap me, thank you.
I've never done this to myself before, put myself under this much pressure.
The final round's been haunting me at night.
I'm first Chinese competitor. I'm desperate to win this competition.
Pipe Dreams, part of Independent Lens on PBS.
Whoops. Not ready for that yet. I was muted during the last bit of my introduction to that, but what I was saying was that Alcy is the one who asks for somebody to slap him. So if you're interested in that stuff, I highly recommend the documentary. And next Monday morning, I'll be chatting with him, and I imagine chatting with him about that experience. And we have that to look forward to. Concert 2 weeks from yesterday. I am so happy to have a good friend this morning and an amazing singer to chat with. And by way of introduction, I wanted to play the first of several videos I'm going to play you of her work this morning before I bring her on to chat. Olga Perez Flora. And this is a video that was made outside. She'll tell us about this when I finally let her into the room. This is a video that was made outside UNM and a song by Leo Brouwer. Enjoy. That was Olga Perez Flora and Ben Silva performing outside of UNM. I'm so pleased that Olga is with us this morning. Olga and her husband, Jamie, are still relatively new on the faculty at the University of New Mexico. They moved here just in time for the world to shut down. But just giving you a taste from Olga's official biography, Cuban-American mezzo-soprano Olga Perez Flora has been lauded by Opera News for her smoky tones and firm, pleasant voice and lively poise. She's performed with opera companies and symphonies across the country and internationally. Dr. Flora holds a doctorate in musical arts from The Ohio State University, Master in Music and Opera Theater from Arizona State University, and the Bachelor in Music and Vocal Performance from Northern Arizona University. She is currently Assistant Professor of Voice and Head of the Voice Area at the University of New Mexico, and she is my guest this morning. Welcome, Olga.
Good morning, everybody. Hi, Matt.
How are you?
I'm great. Happy to be here on this sunny, beautiful Albuquerque morning.
As I mentioned, I'm still on vacation, but it looks like you're not. That looks like you're in your studio at the university. Am I right?
I am. Yep. Here's my office. There's the beautiful piano. And yep, I have a student here at the next hour. So I thought I better get up and get myself into the office.
While we're still thinking about it, tell us about that video that we just watched, what you sang and the circumstances of filming that.
Absolutely. So that was one of two pieces called Dos Canciones by Maestro Leo Brouwer. The story here is that Leo Brouwer is a very famous Cuban composer, mostly guitar. He wrote all of the music for the one of the movie about the Beatles, and he sort of arranged it all. I can't remember the name of it right now. Anyway, he's written just a huge canon of pieces. And these are two of the songs that he wrote. And in 2000 and I think it was 17 or 18, I was called to Buffalo, New York, of all places. The maestro had been given a quick visa to go to Buffalo to do a concert. Would I come and sing these two pieces with one of his students for a concert for him? So I got to meet him, and I'm terrible with meeting famous people. I was befuddled and excited and just a mess.
Fangirl.
Yeah, but I did get to do this concert, go through those pieces with him. And then in the following year, my husband and I were invited to go to Cuba to sing for his 80th birthday. And oh my gosh, it was an extraordinary and an emotional story that we can talk about either later or some other time. And so then during the pandemic, we were invited, or I guess we won a position with Texoma Nats to do a concert with Kristen Ditlow and Jamie Flora and myself. And when we were trying to work out all the logistics of singing without a mask at the time was just really contentious and potentially not safe. So one of the things that the former chair and I had discussed was, could some of it be done outside? And I said, well, the guitar stuff could probably be done outside. And Ben said, yeah, maybe. And so we sort of went on this maybe route. And what you don't see in that scene is the sound guy trying to hush the leaves and and then someone else, I don't remember if it was Jamie or Kristen or someone, was trying to hold something else so that the wind wouldn't be in the way. And it took us an hour and a half to film two pieces that should have taken us, maybe 10 minutes. And then you'll see people in the back, on one of them, there was some loud, motorcyclist came through. And so there were challenges, but we were so thrilled to be able to sing outside, perform outside. And so Ben and I would have our masks on, and we'd get set, and we'd be 6 feet apart, and then they'd be go, and we'd take our masks off and get going and then put our masks back on. So I learned so much about filming, and I was so grateful to Ben and Kristen and Jamie to be able to make all of that happen.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. And I mean, I'm right there with you. Two things that I have never really liked at all are, all the sound stuff, amplification. I just have no head for it. And I'm an acoustic guy. Yeah. And then the whole singing outside, just that sound tends to go nowhere. But what have we been doing a lot in the last year? Because it's what we can do is we've been making videos and we've been singing outside. And so at least we've been singing. So. Yeah,
I was going to say it's better than nothing.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely better than nothing.
I remember that being a fun day.
I was going to start by asking you about your background, but you already alluded to the fact, and it's first thing in your bio, that you are proudly Cuban American, and what we just heard is a music of a Cuban composer. Mm-hmm. So tell us about that in your background and your family history. Sure.
Yes. Well, I feel like I have always had one foot in one country and one foot in the other. Not always, but as I've gotten older. So I was born in the United States. I'm from Louisiana. I was born in Lafayette, and I was raised in New Orleans, Louisiana. My parents, Fidel and Chris, are both from Cuba. They came to this country as children. So grateful to the United States for taking our family in. And as I say in my dissertation, I stand on the shoulders of my grandparents, who made these huge sacrifices to make a better life for their families, because communism was taking over, and they chose to come here. And I'm so grateful all the time for that. And so because of that, as I got older, I started really to look into Cuban music and what was the history. I grew up speaking quite a bit of Spanish, but then it sort of quickly shifted into lots of English and some French, because I grew up in New Orleans. And I've always been a mix. It's ironic that I'm a mezzo. Everything in my life is sort of a mix, a middle, all of that. So this is something I'm coming to discover in my older age. And so when I went to do my doctorate, before I did it, my mentors, my friends who had DMAs or PhDs, or even ones who didn't, they kept saying, go into the doctorate knowing what you want to study. And so I made a list of 3 or 4 things with a very dear friend of mine. And it just was so obvious that I wanted to dig into Cuban song. And it's a lot of what I do. It's kind of turned out to be my niche and something that I'm really passionate about. And, people just love it. People go crazy. We do these concerts and they're up on their feet and they're dancing and they're so alive. And I love that, that some of my history has been able to bring that.
And you've been able to go back. When did that happen for you? When
Well,
did you go to Cuba first?
Yeah, it wasn't a go back. It was a first and potentially only. I've only been
Oh
to
my goodness.
once, and that was in,
Okay.
I think it was 2019. It was pre-pandemic. Obviously, we were invited to sing for Leo Brouwer's 80th birthday celebration, and also with another wonderful Cuban composer, Jose Maria Vitier, who we had met in Ohio. Oddly enough, we met a lot of Cubans in Ohio. And so we were invited to, with a friend of ours, to do some concerts there. I had never been. And so we went, we did these 2 concerts that were emotional and wonderful. And it was a tough trip for me in many, many ways, but I'm glad I did it. I'm glad that I went, and really glad that I got to sing there, and mostly that I got to meet some of my mother's family that I had never met before. It was really great to meet them and spend some time with them. And to Jamie, my husband, and I kept saying, I landed in a country where suddenly everyone looked like me. And I had never had that experience before. I was like, wow, everyone looks like me, and my family often will say that I'm the most like Cuban looking of all of us, And so I was like, oh, this is so cool to have all of these people who look like they could be in my family. There really is something to that, to feeling seen and known in that way. And so that was really beautiful.
Mm. And you said you grew up in New Orleans. How did you grow up singing? Did you grow up singing in choir? How did you find your way to this career?
Well, my parents made sure that I went to a really great school. I went to a private school called Kehoe, France. And at that school, they did a musical every year. And so every grade had a song from the musical. And I can't remember what the first one was, but we did, let's see, we did The Music Man. We did No, No, Nanette, the big hit. We did The Pajama Game. And so we did The Whiz, which was the one that I was really like, that was my big lead, 8th grade before I graduated. And so from 2nd grade to 8th grade, we did a musical every year. And I just loved it. I loved musical theater. And, I was in the chorus. Oh, I had a role in, my mother would really want me to say this. I don't know if she's listening, but they did the, what's the show with the bears and the monkeys and look for
Lion
the
King?
Bare Necessity. No, I'm too old. What was the one with Bare Necessities? That one. I was Mother Wolf. I had one line and I forgot it. Oh, The Jungle Book. The
Jungle Book.
I was Mother Wolf. I had one line and I forgot it. My mom said the little boy next to me like pushed me and was like, "It's your turn." So that was my big debut. I'll send you a picture of that.
Okay. Yeah, I would totally love to see that.
So then I joined the choir at school, and the choir director did not like me. I don't know what that was about, but she kept telling me I sang too loud. Thank you, Lana. Yes, The Jungle. She kept telling me I sang too loud. And so then I thought that was kind of cool. So
you sang in high school choir, but it wasn't necessarily a happy experience?
No, that was in middle school. I went to this all elementary and middle. Then when I went to high school, I sang in choir, and it was a great experience. And I also joined the New Orleans Symphony Youth Chorale. And that, I would say that was a big push for me. 2 things in my life. The New Orleans Symphony Youth Chorale I did all through high school. And we did, of course, big classical works. I sang a Vivaldi Gloria where Ellis Marcellus played the bells standing next to me. I mean, I did all kinds of cool things. And I took ballet for 16 years, French style. And so looking back on it, that wasn't the intention, but it really influenced my love of classical music. And then in high school, I kept doing musical theater and did all kinds of shows. I won an award for The King and I, which is really great, in The Sound of Music. And so I just had, a mix of experiences that really influenced my life. And in my senior year of high school, I started to take voice lessons. I took voice lessons from somebody who I really adored and looked up to. And she taught me Summertime from Porgy and Bess. And I used it for a competition that she asked me to audition for. And at that competition, I won second place, which I was shocked that I won anything. And one of the judges was from Loyola University. And he said to me, we'd like to offer you a scholarship to come and sing, to study music. And I was like, what do you mean study music? And he was like, you can get a degree.
You can do that?
You can do that. I know. Yeah. I was like, you can do that. And he said, yeah, you can. And so that was my first sort of inkling of, I want to do this for the rest of my life, and I can actually get a degree in it. And so that was sort of the beginning.
Somebody is chiming in who has your same last name here.
Yeah.
A Flora family trait, singing too loud.
Yes, I know. I just bought a sign on Etsy the other day that the best way to spread Christmas cheer is to sing loud for all to hear.
Brilliant.
I was like,
I want to play another video. And I was so pleased when you sent this along when I asked you for a couple of links to share, because this is from one of my top 5 favorite pieces. This is you singing the Pie Jesu from the Duraflé Requiem. And this is just such a great, first of all, it's a great mezzo solo, right?
yes.
And it involves cello, and it's just, the whole piece is just to die for.
I know.
But tell us about this performance.
Oh my gosh, this performance was, it's just, well, there's a lot. I am now an artistic co-director for the Idlewild Festival of the Arts in California. And this was one of our performances that we did many, many years ago. This is I think I'm going into my 17th or 18th year. I work with this incredible team of people who've become friends who are like family. And we did the Duraflé Requiem that year. And Joe Modica, the conductor, who's now a dean at the University of Redlands, said, Olga, would you sing the solo? And I said, of course I would. And the students become, these students just become such a part of our lives because they come back year and year and year and year. And so some of these students have been with us for 6-7 years. Some of them come in high school and then they become college section leaders. And we have students now who are, well on their way to being famous singers or conductors or just lovers of music. And so I have a really deep connection to this. But most acutely, one of my dearest friends who was a choral conductor had died just about 6 months before. He died. I think he was 35 years old, and he died singing in a choir during, I think it was a rehearsal, and a lot of these students had worked with him. So this piece became a requiem for all of us, and just was something that I think everyone felt in the room at the moment. My husband was in the audience, and I remember he said it was very emotional. And so it doesn't say it on the video, but this is dedicated to Herman Aguilar, who was a very dear friend and conductor and musician friend of all of ours. And I will add, I'm getting ready to sing it again in LA in March. And so I just love this piece, isn't it? It's just so special.
This is Olga Perez Flora singing the Pie Jesu from the Duraflé Requiem. That's gorgeous, Olga.
Thank you. I can feel myself. I remember the moment when I got choked up and I wanted to start crying, and I just went, "Don't cry, keep singing."
That leads me to a question just about it. We were talking to basically when you got to college and decided to do a degree. That piece shows off so much of your gorgeous low range. So were you always were you an alto in choir? Were you a mezzo originally? How did your voice develop?
I was always a soprano in choir, and for soprano in high school. I find this quite curious, actually. Maybe for the color, I'm not sure. Maybe because I wasn't a very good musician at the time. I didn't really know a lot. And so they were like, she needs the melody. I don't know. I'm not really sure. But the top of my voice has always been pretty easy. And so then I got to college, and my first teacher, Ellen Frohnmeyer at Loyola, said, let's experiment with mezzo-soprano. And I said, what's that? And she explained it to me. I was so green. I didn't know anything. I didn't know what the Marriage of Figaro was. I mean, I just remember learning these things and soaking it all in. I would go sit
Can you explain for us mezzo-soprano? Because I think a lot of people wonder what makes that different, that designation.
Yeah, that's a great question. So the word mezzo means middle in Italian. So it's the middle soprano. And really, there's a lot of argument about this amongst voice teachers and pedagogues. But what I would say is most women are sopranos. And the mezzo-soprano voice really is very much like a lyric soprano in the sense that we are expected to sing up to a C6, which you would call a high C, in some of the repertoire, but that the voice has a lot more color, and then it goes down into the lower part of the range more easily. It's a little bit, it should be very flowy and consistent. A contralto, which would be a very low female, is more rare, right? And so in this case, I went back and forth. It's a great question. People would hear the top of my voice and they would say, the top is so easy, you're a dramatic soprano. There's still argument. There's still people who want to argue about what it is. And I can see both. I love to sing high. Once I get up into that, I've talked about this because when I subbed for a soprano thing, I was like, do you want the whole enchilada or do you just want a half an enchilada? Like
half an enchilada, yeah.
How much sound do you want up there? Because my voice gets quite big above F sharp 5. And so anyway, I sang mezzo in college. And then when I was just out of college, I had a teacher who said, we really need to get you back to soprano. So we switched me back to soprano. And I went to the American Berlin competition as a finalist, which happens at the Metropolitan Opera. And I've never felt so out of water. So like just really, I'm not sure that I had any business being there. And I'm singing this repertoire. And I remember the feedback was like, great voice. This rep is all wrong. And so I went back to mezzo for a really long, long time and have basically stayed in mezzo rep. But sometimes people will say, Olga, there's this soprano-y thing. Would you sing it? Yes, of course. I don't feel some sort of like tight allegiance to having to sing everything a mezzo sings. And we were doing a Haydn Lord Nelson mass once, and the soprano, for whatever reason, I don't remember, she backed out or got sick. And they said, can you sing? There's that one spot, there's like a bunch of A flats. And I did. And the conductor was like, yes. So he loved that for, whatever reason. So for me, I've stuck with mezzo soprano. I will also add, because I know my husband would want me to, when I was a finalist for the Marilla position twice at San Francisco Opera, the woman who ran it at the time, she sat me down and she said, you just sound like such a soprano to me. I'd love to consider hiring you to sing Mimi in Bohème. And I'm not sure if this was the right decision, but I said to her, but I'm a mezzo. It's what I get hired to do. I feel like a mezzo in my heart. I feel like a mezzo. I love the character development. And now I look back on it and I think maybe I should have said, let's get
to sing Mimi.
Yeah, to sing Mimi. Oh my, just what an amazing role. But yeah, I have definitely gone back and forth. One of my best friends, Danielle Paston, is a beautiful soprano. And when she sings in that upper passaggio, it's always shimmery and buoyant, and it can get floaty, and then she can really grow into it. And she can do that all day. I can do that for like a half an hour. So So I was like, maybe I should stick to the mezzo rep.
Well, I love that performance of the Duraflame, and that really shows off some of that
Thank
richness in the lower part of your range.
Thank
I want to play. This is a performance of a song called Canto Negro. Would you tell us about this?
Sure. This is Canto Negro from the Cinco Canciones Negras by Javier Monsalvaj. It's a piece that I sang on my junior recital at Northern Arizona University. The whole set, it's a set of 5 songs. I sing them all the time. I love these pieces. I use these pieces to tell my students repertoire doesn't sort of, fall off. It's not like you sing something, you've mastered it, and then it goes away.
Mm-hmm.
We continue to hone our technique and our consistency. And what I love is I still have the original score, and I have like all my little notes from my voice lessons when I was a junior in college, and I keep learning from that. So these pieces are Cuban text largely. Javier Monsalvaj was Catalan. And so they're really interesting, beautiful pieces. And this is the last piece. It's sort of this drunk man is trying to stand on one foot. Maybe he's going to fall over and maybe he's not.
Okay. This is Olga Perez Flora with Kristen Ditlow. And fantastic.
Thanks. Yes. And Kristen Ditlow just plays that so incredibly well, and she makes everything look easy.
Yeah, she does.
Yeah.
It's an amazing thing, isn't it, to revisit repertoire that you learned earlier in your life and career. It's so much fun to come back to a piece you've done before, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think, I don't know. Well, we're doing a concert on December 9th, Kristen and Jamie and I, and we might put those pieces on there. We're still working on what to do there.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So I'm interested in knowing how teaching evolved for you, because I mentioned your academic credentials at the top of the interview and all of that. But of course, you've had a career and still have a career, very much a teaching artist, as is your husband. And so when did you start to teach, and did you always enjoy teaching?
Yeah, that's a great question. I owe so much of my teaching to Mary and Paul Kiesgen. When I was a junior at Northern Arizona University, Paul was getting ready to leave to go to Indiana University. And Mary, his wife at the time, was teaching for the prep school at NAU. And she said, Olga, I think it's time for you to start learning how to teach. And so I'm going to hand over my prep school students to you. And I said, oh, I'm not ready. My piano skills aren't good enough. That's usually the singer's first line of defense, right?
Right.
The piano skills aren't
And
good
it's
enough.
usually true.
It's usually true. Yes, absolutely. I said, my piano skills aren't good enough. And I just, I'm 20 years old. I've never taught. And she was like, you're a natural. And she said, I tell you what, you can watch me teach 2 lessons and take notes. And then I'll watch you teach a few lessons and I'll start to sort of wean you. I mean, this was brilliant on her part. And I'm going to have to send her this recording. So I started, with the basics of singing is the book that I used. And I'd play Somewhere Over the Rainbow or, The Water is Wide. And she taught me how to teach repertoire that was appropriate for very young singers. These students were mostly in middle school, maybe a little bit of high school. And NAU really did a great job. I took class piano. I wish I could remember her name, Marilyn Koska. I took class piano with Marilyn Koska, and she was great about, I would go into her during her office hours and say, my scales need to be really fluent and to go into the half steps, like I would know how to go on all the white keys, what about the black keys? So she helped me and taught me how to do that. And I practiced and did all of that. And so it helped me to get my chops up, to be sight reading this music and to gain some confidence and to take Mary's warm-ups and Dr. Judy Cloud and Paul Keesgan, all these great mentors and people in my life that I had at NAU. I had a great education at NAU. They really did a remarkable job of taking me. Now I see myself as, gosh, I didn't really know anything. And these people really mentored me and said, you don't know this. You need to learn how to do this thing in order to be successful. I'm so appreciative to all of them for that. And so that was when I started teaching. And then I had a quick stint in Bloomington, Indiana, where I went and I substitute taught to make money while I was there. And so I was teaching in the classroom and I was having a really hard time fitting in / like feeling like I fit in. This isn't on anyone else. This was on me. I felt like I wasn't a good enough singer compared to the other singers there. And so I decided to leave. And so I went back to NAU, and this is not on my bio, but I have a degree in music education. I went back and did a post-bac in music ed, and I student taught in high school choral in Phoenix. And then I got a job in elementary, and I taught elementary music for 4 years. And It was really awesome because I learned. So that was when I really learned my musicianship skills. I would solfege with the students every morning and I would play everything on the piano. And it just gave me this time without judgment to really be slowly learning how to do all those things. And while I was doing that, I was single, and to supplement my income, I continued to teach private voice in the afternoon. My job at Whispering Wind Elementary in Paradise Valley it was like 9 to 3, if I recall, or 9 to 2:30. It was this fantastic job with like an hour lunch and health insurance. I mean, I felt like I'd won the lottery.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
So I did that and continued to teach voice. And then I joined the Arizona Opera Chorus. And then my life took a whole separate turn at that point. Do you want to hear about that?
And well, yeah, that's kind of a cliffhanger there.
So I joined the Arizona Opera Chorus, and a man named Joel Revson came in and took over, and we all had to audition for him, those of us who were in the chorus, and I loved it. Oh my gosh, we do 5 big operas a year. They do these big, huge productions and bring in great singers, and I was steeped in hearing professional singers, and I would buy the scores and I would follow along because I'm a huge nerd, right?
Right,
and so I would think to myself at the age of 21 or 22, maybe one day I'll sing Carmen. So when we did Carmen and I was in the chorus, I bought the score and I highlighted it and I watched those women and I took notes and I did all the nerdy things, and you know what? It paid off.
You were covering Carmen without anybody knowing.
No, I wasn't. No, I was in the chorus. Well, I was covering them, but they didn't know. They just,
yeah, exactly.
they just had no idea. No. It was just a great experience. And then in my 4th year there, teaching elementary, singing for Arizona Opera, this man came in, Joel Revson from the Met, and he took over and he heard me sing and he said, can you come over here and sit down? Can we have a chat? This was after my audition. And I was like, oh God, I was thinking, am I going to get let go? And they're not going to keep me in the chorus. And he said, I don't understand what's going on. Why aren't you singing more? And I said, well, I'm teaching elementary school and health insurance and all those things. And he was like, this has to stop. You have to take a leave of absence and you're going to be an opera singer. And I was like, okay. So I did. I took a leap of faith. I took a leave of absence. And for my job that I loved, I'm still friends with those women who I taught with. And my career, went on its way, and he helped me, and Arizona Opera helped me and took me under their wing. And probably in my, I don't know, Jamie would have to tell me, maybe in my 3rd or 4th year, maybe it was around that 4th or 5th year, actually, that James Flora joined the chorus. And
I was going to get to him, how that happened.
Yeah. He joined the chorus and we met, and he has his own side of the story, but it was Bohem, I think. And he says that I was like a star. You know, he's like, you were like doing roles and this, and he introduced himself, and I guess I was like, hi, nice to meet you, and like walked away. I don't remember. You can have your own chat with Jamie and he'll tell you.
Yes,
So
I will. I would love to hear him side of
we
it. That's
were
basically
colleagues.
how.
Yeah,
Go
we were
ahead.
colleagues for about 4 or 5 years before we even started dating. You know,
Wow.
he says it took that long for me to even notice who he was. So we were like children when we met. And then, you know, and then one day we did this gig together and I heard him sing. And as you know, as I think you know, his voice has this captivating, and I went, oh my God. I was like, has that been there the whole time? And I just never heard it.
And then you started to pay attention to him.
And then I paid attention.
Yeah. Well, I happen to have a video of the two of you singing together.
Awesome.
And tell us what this is.
This is Ernesto Lecuona's Malagueña. This is a very famous piece for piano. And what you'll hear is Kristen Ditlow playing this so remarkably. It really is for piano. And then Placido Domingo added words. And then Jamie and I turned it into a duet. So it's really fun. It talks about the Spanish girl from the town of Malaga and her beautiful black eyes. And it's just got a lot of heart and passion and spirit.
Wonderful. So this is Olga, Jamie, and Kristen Ditlow.
Yo prefiero mejor morir que vivir sin tener tu amor, la inconstancia de tu querer, la alegría mató en mi ser. Ay, al temor de perder tu amor, hoy mi canto solo es dolor.
fantastic.
That's a lot for a Monday morning.
That is a lot for a Monday morning. I meant to mention at the very beginning that Olga and Jamie and Kristen did a live stream recital for us, a Wednesday live stream recital. Gosh, was that back in June or July or something?
Oh my God. It was last fall, wasn't it?
It was last fall. Okay.
Yeah.
And that's available to view in its entirety on our YouTube channel if you want to hear more fantasticness like that. Yeah. And so tell us what's coming up for you, or what I wanted to mention also that one of the reasons we set this up when we did was that you were supposed to be singing the cantata on our Bach project in October, and those dates didn't work out, and we're working madly to reschedule that. But St. John's folks, you have that to look forward to sometime in the spring, we hope. What else has been going on for you?
I have been a part of this super cool project. It's a children's opera called Lucrecia y el canto de los dudasaurios by a wonderful Mexican female composer, Nur Slim. And so Amity Trio has invited me as a guest artist, and we did 4 performances 2 weeks ago, I think, in Albuquerque and in the surrounding area at the Natural History Museum here at Pope Joy. And we're now going to be taking those to Bloomington, Indiana. So I'm going back to Bloomington, my first time back since I was a youngin'. And I'm most excited to go to the Bloomington Bagel Company. And we're going to be doing that. And we're doing a video recording, and PBS is looking at picking it up. And so I'm just so excited to do this project. And as you know, Matt, it's so much better to do a project with people that you adore. And I love performing for you and your friends and family at St. John's. And the Amity Trio is a group of wonderful humans. I'm really excited about what they're doing. So there's that.
And this is an opera for children?
For children in Spanglish.
Okay.
Yep. And it is interactive, and my kids now know all the music, and Katie and Mike Walker's daughter. And so it's like,
I happen to have a photo here.
Oh, there it is. Yes. There we are. So this is myself, and then Nur Slim, Mike Walker, French horn, Kim Carballo, piano, and Katie Walker, soprano. And then that's my daughter, Lucia, with me and her mom in her goofy hat.
And I assume you're in costume there.
Yeah, it's great costumes that Noor brought from Mexico, and she made them and wrote this opera for her son. It's just really a cool project. And I'm doing a concert at the University of Arkansas in a couple weeks. And then I'm here doing a faculty recital December 9, 2:00, I think. It's a Thursday afternoon, which will be kind of nice. And then I'm going to Phoenix to do a recording for a composer with Jamie, Brian Damaris. Really looking forward to that. And then in the spring, Duraflay, this opera, the Bach cantata, I hope. And I'm speaking at ACDA and at the California Music Educators Conference. So,
oh my gosh,
just
fantastic.
a few little things.
And I know you have to teach a voice lesson, but if you're interested in keeping up with Olga and what she's doing, that's her website there, olgaperezflora.com. And we look forward to seeing you around St. John's, you and Jamie, both, Olga. We're going to work on that.
Great. That sounds great. I hope that you have a safe travel home, and give me the link for that Airbnb behind you.
I will. It's fantastic. I highly recommend it. Yeah. Great to see you. Have a good day.
Thank you so much. You too.
Bye. Well, friends, thanks for joining us this morning. A reminder of what is coming up this week. Thursday at noon, there's a live stream recital from Therese McCauley and Jim Arend. And then this Saturday at 5:00, Jazz Vespers. That is both live and live streamed. And then next Monday morning, kind of the last Monday morning music with Matt for this year, I believe, I'm going to be joined by Alcy Chris, who's going to be our special guest artist 2 weeks from yesterday, concert organist who's coming in from Connecticut. And so join us next Monday as I get to chat with Alcy, and that'll be a great teaser for what's coming up. Thanks for joining us this morning, friends. Have a lovely week.